Today's lesson is to solve trig equations. For 3, solve the trig equations on the interval from 0 to 2 pi. For A, we know this is a linear pattern. Therefore, you have to isolate the variable on one side. So move square root of 3 the other side, then don't forget change the sign. Minus square root of 3. So I got the 2 cosine x minus pi over 3 equal to negative square root of 3. Then you divide it by 2. You will get cosine x minus pi over 3 equal to negative square root of 3 over 2. Reference angle, that is pi over 6. Then we go to diagram. Since cosine, this angle equals negative square root of 3 over 2, that's a negative. Therefore, we go to second and a third quadrant. This will be 5 pi over 6 and a 7 pi over 6. Our angle is x minus pi over 3. You have to equals to these two angles. So we set up x minus pi over 3 equals 5 pi over 6. And also x minus pi over 3 equals 7 pi over 6. So we solve these two equations now. Cross equal sign, we need to change the sign. That's pi over 3. For this addition of a fraction, we try to get the same denominator. Therefore, we multiply by 2. For pi over 3, top and bottom, I will get the x equals. Denominator is 6. 5 pi plus 2 pi, that's 7 pi. Then go here, I add pi over 3. Still, you need to multiply by 2 like this. So you get the x equals, here's a 6 denominator, 9 pi. Reduce, you will get 3 pi over 2. This is your x1, here's x2. So we have two solutions for A between 0 to 2 pi. Now let's go to B. First of all, this still linear pattern, so we need to divide it by 2 both sides. You will get the sine x minus pi over 6 equal to negative 1 over 2. Then your reference angle, that will be pi over 6, because the sine 30 equals 1 over 2. Then we go to diagram. Sine equals negative. That means third and then the fourth quadrant. Therefore, you got 7 pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. So we know that this is the angle equals to these two. I will set up x minus pi over 6 equals to 7 pi over 6. And x minus pi over 6 equals 11 pi over 6. Therefore, I add pi over 6. You will get the x1 equals 8 pi over 6. That will be 4 pi over 3. That's your x1. For x2, still I need to add pi over 6. You got the x equals 12 pi over 6. x2 equals 2 pi. Since we are looking for the angle between 0 to 2 pi, And in this problem, period equals 2 pi. So 2 pi minus 2 pi equals 0 will be the solution too. Therefore, for this question, we will have 3 solutions, 1, 2, and 3. Now let's go to C. First of all, we know this is a linear pattern. Therefore, we divide it by 2 both sides. You will get the sine x plus pi over 3 equals to negative square root of 2 over 2. Then we go to reference angle. That will be pi over 4. For sine, it's a negative. Therefore, we need to go to the third and the fourth quadrant. Then we got 5 pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4. Our angle, that's x plus 3 pi, you have to equals to these two angles. Therefore, we set up x plus pi over 3 equals 5 pi over 4. And also x plus pi over 3 equals 7 pi over 4. So we do cross the river, change sign, minus pi over 3. Since the denominator is different, we can use this formula. A over B plus or minus C over D. Denominator multiply. Then cross multiply, go to the top. That's AD plus or minus BC. Therefore, I will get the x equals, denominator is 12. 15 pi minus 4 pi, you will get 11 pi. That's your x1. For x2, we do the same thing, pi over 3. So x equals, denominator is 12. Cross multiply, that's 21 pi minus 4 pi. That will be 17 pi. This will be your x2. That's the solution. For number 4, solve the equation. List all solutions for given domain. For A, 2 cosine 3x plus square root of 3 equal to 0. This is a linear pattern, so we need to isolate the variable on one side. Therefore, I minus the square root of 3 and then divided by 2. We got the cosine 3x equals negative square root of 3 over 2. Then I go to reference angle. That's pi over 6. Since cosine is a negative, we go to diagram. That's a second and a third quadrant. We got 5 pi over 6 and 7 pi over 6. Our angle is 3x. 3x equals to those two. So we set up 3x equals 5 pi over 6. And also 3x equals to 7 pi over 6. We divide it by 3. You get your x1 equals 6 drop down, that's 5 pi over 18. Divided by 3. You will get the x2 equals 7 pi over 18. Then you need to figure out the general form. Period, that's 2 pi over 3, because b is 3. Therefore, for your general form, you will write down 5 pi over 18 plus 2 pi times n over 3. Also, I got 7 pi over 18 plus 2 pi over 3 times n. Since I need this x between negative pi to pi, therefore, you have to put this together. You will get multiplied by 6, multiplied by 6. And we got denominator is 18 and 5 pi plus 12 pi times n. For the 7 pi over 18, I do same thing. This will be multiplied by 6, multiplied by 6. So we got the denominator is 18, 7 pi plus 12 pi times n. Since we are looking for angle between negative pi to pi, for 5 pi over 18, you just write down over 18 over 18. And you keep adding 12 pi to the numerator. 5 plus 12, that's 17 pi. Plus 12, that's 29 pi. But 29 divided by 18, that's greater than 1. Therefore, this is gone. For this part, I minus 12. 5 minus 12, that's negative 7 pi. Minus 12, that's negative 19 pi. Negative 19 pi is less than negative pi, so it's gone. We got the 3 solution for 5 pi over 18. Now let's go to this 7 pi over 18. So 7 pi over 18. Put the over 18 over 18. You need to keep adding 12 pi to the top on the right side. That's I got the 19 pi over 18 is already out of this domain. So I minus 12 pi, you got negative 5 pi over 18, negative 17 pi over 18. Then I keep minus 12, that's negative 29 pi over 18. This is gone. Therefore, we got 6 solutions. That's this 6 will be our solution between negative pi to pi. Now let's go to B. We need an angle between negative 2 pi to 2 pi. This still linear pattern, so we divide it by 2. You got the sine 2x equals negative square root of 2 over 2. Reference angle, that's pi over 4. Then we go to diagram. Since sine is less than 0, therefore go to third and fourth. You will get 5 pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4. Our angle is 2x, so 2x equals this 2. I will set up 2x equals 5 pi over 4 and 2x equals 7 pi over 4. Then we divide it by 2 both sides. You will get the x1 equals 5 pi over 8 divided by 2. You will get the x2 equals 7 pi over 8. Therefore, for the general form, your period is 2 pi over 2. It's a pi. Now we will write down the general form. That will be 5 pi over 8 plus pi times n. And also 7 pi over 8 plus pi times n. We put this together over 1. So we multiply by 8, multiply by 8. You will get denominator is 8, 5 pi plus 8 pi times n. For this part, I do over 1, still multiply by 8, multiply by 8. You will get denominator is 8, 7 pi plus 8 pi times n. Then we can write down the solutions between negative 2 pi to 2 pi. For 5 pi over 8, I need to over 8 over 8. I need to add 8 pi to the top. I got 13 pi. 21 pi is already out of this domain because that's greater than 2 pi. Then minus 8 pi on the left side. To the top, you got negative 3 pi, negative 11 pi, negative 19 pi. This is out of this domain. So we got a full solution for 5 pi over 8. Then I go to 7 pi over 8. I do over 8 over 8. We need to add 8 pi to the top. That's 15 pi. Keep adding 8. That's 23 pi. This is out of a domain. So minus 8 pi, you got negative pi. Negative 9 pi. Negative 17 pi. This is out of a domain. Therefore, we got 8 solutions. That is here. Now let's go to C. We need a x is between negative pi to pi. This is a linear pattern. Therefore, you cross negative 1 to the right side, then divided by 2. We got cosine 3x equals 1 over 2. Reference angle, that's pi over 3. Since for cosine is positive, therefore we go to first and a fourth. That is pi over 3 and a 5 pi over 3. Our angle is 3x. Therefore, we write down 3x equals pi over 3 and a 3x equals to 5 pi over 3. So we divide by 3. You will get the x1 equals pi over 9. We divide it by 3. You will get the x2 equals 5 pi over 9. Then we go to general form. Your period, that's 2 pi over 3. Then we can write down the general form, pi over 9 plus 2 pi times n over 3. And also we have 5 pi over 9 plus 2 pi times n over 3. This n will be integers. And I will put this together so that I will find the pattern, multiply by 3 to the top and bottom. You will get denominator is 9 pi plus 6 pi times n. For this part, we still multiply by 3. So you will get denominator is 9. It's a 5 pi plus 6 pi times n. We need an angle between negative pi to pi. Therefore, for pi over 9, I can write down pi over 9 over 9 over 9. You keep adding 6 pi to the top. You will get 7 pi. 13 pi is already out of this domain. So pi minus 6 pi negative 5 pi negative 11 pi is out of this domain. For 5 pi over 9, I need to put over 9 over 9. And keep adding 6 pi. So I add 6 pi, that's 11 pi over 9. It's already out of this domain. So minus 6 pi, negative pi, negative 7 pi. For here is negative 13 pi is out of domain. Therefore, there are 6 solutions between negative pi to pi.